Buried deep near Vermilion, Ohio, lies a dark graveyard said to be haunted. As is to be expected, it's a graveyard, a place where you bury loved ones once they've passed. However, this grave in particular is known for something far more sinister than just being the resting place for lost souls. At the graveyard, you can find a statue of an angel, missing its head and its hands. This supposedly cursed statue goes by many names: Alice Angel, the Angel of Death, but the one it is most commonly known as is the Dark Angel of Maple Grove. The Maple Grove Cemetery is where the angel stands, seemingly guarding the graves in the cemetery. The statue is rumored to have been built in the late 19th century. However, no one really knows the true story behind the statue's creation, and that's where the legend comes in. According to legend, in the late 19th century, there was a woman named Alice, a widow and a single mother, living with her only child, her baby, Krista. She was described as loving and kind, and would always help those around her. So it seems strange that on a dark, stormy night, she seemingly snapped and murdered her only daughter. No one in the whole neighborhood knew why she'd do such a thing, and it left everyone in a state of confusion. After she committed this terrible act, she was overcome by grief, and in her remorse and regret, she decided to bury her daughter in Maple Grove Cemetery. She had a statue of an angel constructed, looming over her daughter's grave, to watch over her and her burial site. The statue was tall, and bore a look of sadness, and in some other variations of the story, the angel statue shed one tear, and Alice was sent into her state of sorrow. The mother fell into a deep depression, and for what little time she had on earth, she lived it with pain and guilt, unable to get over the fact that she murdered her own daughter. She fell into insanity, and eventually took her own life. She was buried next to her daughter, under the looming presence of the angel. Not too long after her death, a lot of things in the neighborhood started going awry. Allegedly, birds would be found dead all over the graveyard, and when people passed the statue, they reported that the eyes of the statue would follow them. Not only that, farmers who lived nearby would find their cattle torn to shreds. After this continued for some time, some locals turned their attention to the angel statue when they found its mouth and hands covered in blood. This led to locals to believe that it was the statue that was killing all the livestock the farmers had. It was then that rumors started surfacing that the statue held the spirit of the widowed Alice, condemned to live for eternity inside the statue as her punishment for her sins. A few weeks later, the killing of livestock stopped, but people still feared the statue. They were afraid that even looking at its eyes would drive you mad, just as Alice was. This legend then escalated. Apparently, if you looked directly into the eyes of the statue, then you would die shortly after. Moreover, the legend also stated that anyone who desecrated or vandalized the statue in any way would come to an untimely death. However, the last legend only came about after the bodies of 3 teens were found dead in a horrible car crash. These teens vandalized the statue by chopping its head off, as well as its hands, and drove off, hoping that no one would be ever the wiser. Unfortunately, their car was found only streets away, with their bodies horribly mangled, a result of the car crash, no doubt. What makes this even scarier is what they found in the back seat of the car. In the back seat, they found the head of the angel statue, gazing forward at the bodies of the dead teens. So, as of today, the statue still stands, still guarding the cemetery. But of course, it's missing its head. Presumably locked away in storage by the police, should the legend be real, that is. Anyway, upon further research, I couldn't seem to find any more information on the statue itself. But I did find this: the grave of Alice Spindler, lying near the angel statue. It's a tad eerie if I do say so myself. Who knows? Maybe there is some truth to this legend. And if there is, am I glad I live states away from Ohio?